What's up, y'all? It's Friday. It's me, Erica. We down here. We are... Oh, did I press record? I done dropped all my shit. I'm gonna have to get out the car and get all my stuff, honey. My phone and everything. Come on. Okay, so what we down here doing? It's Friday. I had to take the day off, child. We might move our frequency to Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I kind of like the way that feels. It gives me a day. I don't like to be down here and feel like I'm not talking about nothing. You know what I'm saying? So we had a little bit of random topics to talk about this morning. Let me make sure I parked right. I did watch Real Housewives of Orange County. I'm not sure if I'm going to review it or not. Are you guys going to watch it? Because I guess I could talk about it. I mean, it's a show to talk about, I guess. I took a little bit of notes. I'm trying to make sure I feel like I'm parked right. I hope everybody's doing good. I hope everybody's well. Okay, let me turn my car off. So everybody's doing okay? Somebody this morning, I was on Twitter. It's so funny, I was on Twitter. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment. Let the diva know you stopped by. We're down here doing our thing, you know, getting all my shit together. Let me take my foot off the brake. All right. So I had to put my shirt down. This shirt says "Off with his head, a queen." I'll make the shirts available starting today. I'll make the shirts available starting today for about a week. You guys can get your shirts. Off with his head, a queen. You might see Rodney the Voice wearing a shirt. He bought a shirt for me. Shout out to Rodney the Voice for the support. And thank everyone else who have bought shirts and little tote bags. I also have a shirt that says Gatekeeper of the Culture as well. That's available actually right now. And some shirts that say Protect Your Energy. So you can go on, there is a link in the description and on the About Us page where you can get a link to the merch. Come on, merch. The queen shirts, the Off with his head shirts, they might not be available. I'll make them available. I usually like to make it available like once a month. But all the other shirts are available. The Gatekeeper of the Culture is available. I think I'm going to do a redesign on that one. I like the font. Y'all could tell me what y'all think. I like the font. It's a black shirt with white, and it says Gatekeeper of the Culture in red. Gatekeeper in white. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to go redesign that shirt. It's a good time. Mercury is in retrograde, so I can go back and redesign that shirt right now. What else was we talking about? Ice Cube is down here. I just wanted to mention him real quick. Here's the thing. Here's what I think about what Ice Cube has going on. Okay. And how people are responding to it. You know, I really like to talk about the response, really, because, you know, it's not going to change the thing. But the response to Ice Cube, it made me think of the phrase that we always say, that we're not a monolith. And, you know, as soon as a black person comes out and speaks about any type of plan that they have, there's a disservice that they do by saying, you know, they're speaking for all black people, because black people, like black Americans specifically, I'll just go out on a limb where the fruit is to say that it's black Americans who really say we are not a monolith. They say it a lot, and I think it does come from this it's like a subconscious of white nationalist ideology, and just American, which it's an American value system to be an individual, to bank on your individual success. Community is not anything that American culture encourages. There's nothing about community. Community and the energy that community brings comes a lot from immigrants, right? People from the African diaspora or from other, you know, countries. They come and they model community really, really well. Latinos do it really, really well. I mean, down onto their hiring practices and stuff. You know, I've seen it. You know, and you could say it's you could say, I don't know what you can say, because I don't know if I get when I'm at, like, for instance, when I say Latinos they be taking care of each other, right? Jewish people take care of each other. But black people, we like to say we're not a monolith. And I'm going to get to my point about Ice Cube. But I'm going to tell you a little story. I be in the store, right? And I have a store right over here by my house, that has a deli and, a meat market and a bakery and all of that shit, right? And, part of the, there's salsas and everywhere, because, I'm in California, hello. So there's salsas, all this fresh salsas and everything, and chile and all that stuff, and crab salad and the chicken salad and the cheeses and the creams and all of that, right? And I do notice that when I go and have, like, say I'm getting some crab salad, the woman will fill my cup, the little pint, get a small, whatever size, she'll fill the container up and she'll fill it up. But when her Latino sister comes, right? And baby, when I tell you, she'd be packing that shit in, when she pack, like, and I notice it, and I'm like, she's taking care of her people. And then, like, should I feel slighted for that? Like, I'm not getting my shit packed. I want my shit packed up, in the container. I want a bunch of crab salad, a bunch of salsa spilling over, and you got to put a bag around it because the shit is coming out the container. You understand what I'm saying? But sis leaves a space for me, so my salsa doesn't come out the container. But when her sister comes, baby, she packs that container up. I've seen it. My dad is partnered with a Puerto Rican Mexican woman, and you see how they take care of their people. They will make adjustments. They will hire you with no experience. As long as you look like me, you in there. Whatever it is, hold on. Whatever it is, they gonna make sure. Oh, I have my lights on. They gonna make sure that they take care of you. So now let me get back to that. I just wanted to share that little story. So let me get back to Ice Cube. So to me, when you say, just follow me, right? Okay, you're probably like, girl, what are you talking about? Just follow me. Ice Cube represents a community of black people, right? He does not represent all black people, but there are some black people who are aligning with the things that he's talking about. There are some that are not. It's always going to be like that. There's going to be some that's for you, some that's against you, some that's like waiting to see like how it's going to work out, what it's going to do, And then there are other groups of people who have already been doing the things that Ice Cube has outlined in his agenda, his plan, or whatever. My thing is this: if we are sincerely not a monolithic group of people where we all have different interests, it is true. It's true. We all have different interests, value sets, all that, core beliefs, principles. All of us have different. Politically, I think we should operate in the way that Jewish people operate, because whether they have infighting, angry, they have all their shit going on inside, they do move politically, collectively, right? You don't ever hear Jewish people talking about, we are not a monolith, we're not a monolith. Now, I understand we have different circumstances, and that's why people say the things that they say, but they do have their infighting, they do have their issues. However, when it comes politically, they move together. Okay. Now you saying, well, I don't want to move together because I don't like Ice Cube's plan. Now, if you truly not a monolith, then you can express your disagreement with Ice Cube's plan, but then you can also support a plan that somebody has already put in place, that NAACP is already doing things to speak to the things that are on his list. People have a problem with him going to Donald Trump's administration. Now, I agree with what Ice Cube said. No matter who it is, we need a plan of action, right? I agree with that. You need a plan of action. But when you say we, right, there is a group of people like, you're not talking for me. You're not talking for me. So is it possible? Now, here's my question. Is it possible for black people in America, right? And when I say black people, I'm including the diaspora and the immigrants and the first gens and second gens who are here, who I don't care where you're from. Your skin is dark in America. You are black, okay? And we can argue all day, all night. But in terms of the system of race, they don't care about. That's that only thing that is concerning is this right here. That's it. It don't have nothing else to do with I'm from Nigeria. I'm from this tribe. That don't matter here. That doesn't matter here. That's just how it is. And I'm sorry I had to say it like that, but I think we do better when we just speak clearly to each other. And so I feel like Ice Cube's plan, no matter if I don't agree with it or not, that's going to work for some people. Why can't we, my question, have more than one plan for black people if, in fact, we are not a monolith, right? So when he says for Black America, I don't know, maybe you should change the wording, because we always talk about words mean things, right? Because everybody was really up in arms about defund the police. So words mean things, right? We've talked about that. So if you're going to say this is not for all of Black America, right? Because not all of Black America has the same value system and principles, right? But politically, we should probably, like at the base, politically, be saying the same thing collectively. Like at the base, at the root, at the foundation of it all. Now, when you start getting up into the nuances of these projects and these bills and all of this, then you can kind of like get into the nuance. But at the base level, for me, I believe everybody, we should function as a collective. We should not be at the base level saying we're not a monolith, because at the base level, I think we should all want equality across the board. He had some things in there about home ownership. He had some things in there about jobs. He had some things in there about I can't remember. But I mean, they weren't outlandish things. However, other people have been working on these same exact things. So it's like, are you working for the same exact things, for the same things that he's working for? Are these two different groups of black people that we're talking about, right? That, I don't know. That's just my thoughts about it. I just feel like, am I disappointed that he went to work with the Trump administration? No, because what he said made sense. If he wins, we still need to have a plan. The Democrats told Ice Cube, according to Ice Cube, they told him, we'll look at your plan if we get elected, once we get elected. So in other words, we won't do nothing for you until you do something for us. Elect us, and then we're going to go and we'll look at your plan. Probably not implement nothing out of this plan. We'll look at it. But elect us first. And what have Democrats been doing over centuries, over hundreds of years with black people? What, the last 200 years? What with black people? How long has black people? Well, we haven't had a right to vote for 200 years. Shit. But politically, listen, politically, what have Democrats done for black people? What have they done? It's always give. It's an expectation, like if you're not black if you don't vote for me. It's this weird expectation that we're the party that you need to vote for, but we're also the party that really doesn't do much for you. So, I don't identify with those. That's not my thing, but it is what it is. I don't see anything wrong with what he said about working, because if he wins, you're going to still need your plan to be put in place. The Democrats said, if we win, we'll look at it. But according to Ice Cube, he said that the Trump administration has made some adjustments in their shit. However, they are the type of people, just like Democrats, who will tell you anything. They will actually act like they're doing it and not do anything at all. So it's like, you're really dealing with a double-edged sword here. I mean, and there's really no winning here. But what do you guys think about that as a monolith, when we keep saying that? because Ice Cube is not, to me, Ice Cube is not speaking for everybody. Neither, I mean, a lot of people don't agree with everything the NAACP does. Shit. You understand what I'm saying? And there are other organizations. You know, I was watching Roland Martin yesterday, and Ice Cube, I didn't get to see the whole thing, but they said Ice Cube, and I can't remember her name. I think it started with an S, or her last name is Sanchez or something like that. I can't remember her name, but she's, you know, an activist. She's in the street. She's doing all of these things, the plans that she was basically saying, Ice Cube, we're already doing these plans. What you should have done, instead of creating something like you've created something out of thin air on your own, you know, what happened to the plan that T.I. had? Wasn't T.I. working, or is that the thing? Like, and then this idea that these black male celebrities are coming out with these things like this, like, to me, I feel like if you're a celebrity and you don't have the range, and this is not your lane, what you can do is supply resources to the people who are equipped to talk about things like this. I think that will work better. To me, I feel like T.I., Killer Mike, what's the other, Ice Cube. I don't be... See, because the monolith thing to me is a shot in the foot, because it is this idea that you don't want onlookers looking at us as one group. You don't want onlookers to look at us as one group and to think that we all want the same thing. That's fair. But politically, I think we shoot ourselves in the foot by saying we're not a monolith. I don't know. Help me flesh that out. You guys can get in the comments and talk about it. Oh, I did want a little update. I don't know if she won, and you guys can let me know, but Monique's Netflix discrimination case was put, I guess, allowed to move forward. Doesn't look like she's won anything to me. I feel like what I read, it kept saying the judge wants to move forward, like they're going to take the case on, they're going to take it, but I don't know if there's been any judgments or any rulings or anything like that. But I did want to talk about that, because we do talk about Monique a lot down here. I think if Monique wins that case, it will set a precedent for other people to believe that they are being discriminated against based on what they were offered in a job or whatever. They were going to go ahead and sue. But what's going to happen is, in order for that to actually be effective, people are going to have to talk about and share what they make, right? And in this country, and a lot of countries and a lot of cultures, we're very, we don't like to talk about, like, how much do you make? Money is like real funny, because people start counting people's money. They start, they start counting your money, and that's just what it is. And so a lot of people don't like to share how much they make for whatever. But in order for Monique's plan or, case to work for other people, you would have to say, oh, okay, I talked to Susie. Susie said she makes $90,000 a year for this job. And I talked to Tasha, who says she makes $85,000 a year with this job. I want to know why, if I have the same qualifications and skill set as this person, why am I being offered $5,000 less? Give me another $5,000 or more, or I'm going to sue you for discrimination. To me, that's the only way that it can work. People are going to have to start sharing how much they get paid for their jobs, to me. Amy Cooper, remember Amy Cooper, the white woman who called on Chris Cooper, down to Central Park. She had called 911 and said that she was going to tell him a black man was assaulting her. So it turns out that they went ahead and charged her. She actually made a second call that we just found out about the other day, saying that he assaulted her. So not only did she call the cops, or the 911 once, and said she was being attacked by a black man or African American man, but she called a second time and said he assaulted her. So to me, what she was really doing was weaponizing her whiteness and trying to get someone to do her dirty work and to kill a black man because she didn't want to obey a city ordinance that says keeps your dogs on a leash. So because she didn't want to obey the law, she thought she would call the law to come kill the black man who was asking her to was trying to enforce the law that she's supposed to comply with. Don't white people always going around, they're always enforcing laws? So when somebody else does it to you, what you do, because you don't want to follow the law, you call the law so they can eliminate the person who is enforcing the law. But she says she's not racist. She's been fired from her job. We already know that. They said she engaged in racial criminal conduct. She can have up to 1 year in jail. What I think she should do, now I don't think she should go to jail. I don't think that she should go to jail. What I think they should do with people like that is put them on a national platform and have them sit there and have them tell you why they did what they did on a national television, international level, wherever everybody can see it. Because I think people need to realize these are the faces of racists. These are the faces of people who practice racism and who exercise racism. And these are the ways that they do it. Here's a face to this problem, to this criminal activity. And here she is. I think he deserves a public apology and a reason as to why she called 911 on him. And I want someone to ask her. He was trying to enforce a law, and you called the law on him, and you're going to act like you don't know what the relationship is between law enforcement and black people. So when you called and inserted his race, it became you exercising racism. So what? So, and you're saying you're not racist. Why did you mention his race? And I think that's how it should go. Let's see if there's anything else. Oh, it was funny. I was on Twitter this morning and somebody was talking about how men are manipulative. No, I'm serious. I'm dead serious. This woman says, one of my friend's boyfriends at the time literally cried for weeks for her to keep her baby. Like he was acting so distraught that she did not want to keep it. Talking about, how are you going to kill our baby? And now my little mama is a single mom. Men are manipulative as F. And I said, men are manipulative. That's how they're socialized. I remember my son's father going through my journal and reading about an abortion that I had years before I met him. And he was trying to pressure me to call the guy and tell him. It had been years before I met him, and he was empathizing with this man. And everybody keeps saying, they're like, oh my God, tell me this cannot be real. No, that man went through all of my journals, read all of my journals, and then used what was in my journals against me. And made me feel bad about the things that I was journaling about. Yes. And yes. And so people are just like, please say psych. This cannot be real. Yes, it is real. It is real. I remember him wanting me to throw away all of my astrology books. I remember throwing away a birth chart book that I had where I was learning to make birth charts without any, this was before all of this shit on the internet was going on. I mean, the internet was out and everything, but I was not using, I was actually using a compass, using a ruler and making birth charts and learning how to make birth charts. And I remember I made my own birth chart. I had figured out my sun, moon, and rising all by myself based on the time I was born and all this other stuff and all these books and stuff. I was doing it manually. And I remember he made such a big fuss about me and astrology, and he's Muslim. And so he was calling me a kafir and all of this stuff. And you need to throw away all of your astrology books. He wanted me to call this guy and tell this guy that you don't even know. You don't even know. You just read about something in my journal. And now you want me to call this guy and tell him that I had an abortion. And somehow you're sympathizing with him and empathizing with him. And it's so crazy. It is so crazy how men will actually empathize with other men or make a woman feel bad about doing something that was for her or her business, and then really violate. Not only did you violate by going in through my stuff, like when I tell you that man went through all of my things to the point where in the house that I bought, he had gone into the attic. I don't know what the fuck he was looking for in the attic, but that nigga was so insecure, so weak. Like he was going through he went through all of my stuff, like all of my journals. I just got rid of I had so many journals. I would keep a journal every year. My journals were the best. I would cut stuff out, draw stuff. My journals were beautiful. And it was all of my thoughts from my 20s, and it was my life. And when I moved to Atlanta, I moved my whole life with me, and my journals came with me. And he was in my apartment and went through and was reading all my shit, went through all of my journals. I have never felt so violated in my life. And then for the person to take what is in your journal and throw it in your face, like things in your journal, there's some things you write in your journal that you don't want to tell anybody about. You don't want to tell nobody about because you're ashamed of it or you feel guilty or whatever kind of way. And for somebody to violate that, I felt violated. And then for him to say, you need to do this, like taking what is in my journal and telling me how I should fix whatever it was he felt was broken. Oh my God. I'm telling you, when I tell y'all the story, I'm telling y'all I should write a book about that motherfucker because it didn't last long, but he really was awful, just an awful human being. And then like lo and behold, the person that he partners with believes everything that he says about me. And I had to tell her one time, girl, the person you're with is not the person that I was with. Whatever performance he's putting on for you, girl, was not the same person I was with, honey. Was not the same person. He would never do that. He would never say that. He had said something grossly homophobic about if he found out his child was gay, he would take them out into the woods and shoot them. And I remember her trolling me on Twitter and then like saying, you need to apologize for that. That never happened. He never said that. Your son didn't hear him say that. I'm like, yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He said it. And so she was like, oh, you need to delete that tweet. Like, you want me to delete my story because you don't like the way it makes your husband look. And you believe everything your husband is telling you and nothing about what he's done to me or what he said to me. When I tell you women are crazy about what my grandmother always says, shout out to my grandmother, my paternal grandmother. She always says a bitch will act a goddamn fool over a dick and a dollar, honey. Let me tell you, they will. They will act fucking crazy over a man. And it's so many women after a woman comes out and has been abused or whatever, she believes everything he says and doesn't believe nothing he says until it happens to her. Didn't Little Mo tell a story? She was with that guy who was abusive to her. And she didn't want to hear nothing his exes had to say until it happened to her. And when they broke up, the ex-girlfriend was like, girl, I was trying to tell you, you didn't even want to fucking listen to me. You didn't want to listen to me. And I tell this story all the time. It's kind of funny because the first time I met my son's father's girlfriend, who is now his wife, I was looking over the car. I was like, okay, nice to meet you, whatever. And I was looking over the car and I was looking at her, and in my head, I wanted to say, I wanted to tell her, girl, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. But some bitches be so hard up for a man that they will ignore every single flaw about him. It's like really a Yelp review, right? And I think men should have, and men and women both should have Yelp reviews, and you can go read their reviews before you decide to partner with them, because I was like trying, but then I thought to myself, everybody deserves a piece of happiness for a little while, no matter how long it lasts. Whatever representative he is showing her, she seems to be happy and okay with it. I mean, she went ahead and married the nigga, baby, ooh, and believe everything he says, most of everything he says. She probably does. I don't know, but yeah, that nigga went through all my stuff. And then I shared on Twitter just a little while ago that, you know, he won't be able to do any of that to anybody anymore. He won't be able to read their journals. He won't be able to push anybody. He won't be able to sock anybody in the jaw. He might still be verbally abusive. I don't know. But he can't see anymore. And he's had a few strokes, so his speech is kind of slurred. But he can't see. He can't read anybody's journal anymore. He's blind, so that's it with that. I always tell people, there's certain people that you come in contact with in your life and you don't fuck with them. Because after you fuck with them, things will start happening in your life and you don't quite understand why. You fucked in your path. You fucked with the wrong person. And this is your life now. You should have played a different role in the people's lives that you came across, that you walked through. The people's lives that you walked through, you should have played a different role. Because when you sit down and when it's all said and done, you're going to look at your life and realize, how the fuck did I get here? What did I do to get here? Think about the people's lives that you came across and the role that you played in their lives. And that might explain why you are where you are today. Anyways, y'all, that's my time. I'm gonna come back real quick and talk about Real Housewives of Orange County. Peace. Take care of each other and protect your energy. I might come down here tomorrow. I gotta go to the dispensary. I'll come down here tomorrow though.